GPT-5 is out. I have access on my phone and my computer at home, but for some reason, on this computer, I don't. I'm still on the old models, 03, 4.0. And then I thought, wait a second, that's actually a great opportunity. I can test them side by side to see if GPT-5 is way better as an English learning tool, partner, teacher, helper. Is it better? Is it the same? Is it worse? How could it be worse? How could it be worse? So we're going to be testing these side by side, creating things like quizzes, getting feedback on writing, actually writing variations and different versions of text, doing evaluations, in-depth evaluations to evaluate English level and test accuracy. We really want to just get a feeling for whether or not GPT-5 is as great and smart as it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be groundbreaking. It's supposed to be cutting edge. It's supposed to be the best that there is. Well, is it? There's only one way to find out, of course. If you're here for my thoughts on the voice mode, check out my other video. I have a dedicated review of GPT-5's voice mode. So go check out that video. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, check out the 90-day program. Now let's begin. So first I want to create a quiz. Now this is not just any quiz. Notice I'm here using the reasoning model, not 4.0. I want to give it the best chance that it has, the older model, right? And then supposedly, even though I can choose here, I can choose the thinking model, supposedly GPT-5 knows when it should think, right? So I shouldn't have to ask it to switch. It should know when it needs to do that so that it can outperform 03. So this is not a simple quiz. This is very difficult. 4.0 struggles to do this well. The idea is to create a quiz where 3 answers or 3 examples that use a specific word, like plausible, 3 of them are natural and 1 uses it correctly, but in a slightly awkward way, right? So it's a bit unnatural. So for example, in the example, the most plausible way to lose weight is diet and exercise. It's not grammatically wrong. It's okay to say that. It's just a bit awkward and not very natural. So the correct answer should be A. So what we want to do is then create another one that's like that, okay? So we're going to use the same prompt in both places, okay? So both of them understand? Well, I would hope so. I would hope so. And then we want to give them the next word. We should just be able to say the next word. The next word is conundrum. Conundrum. Okay. Oops, got to send that one. There we go. All right. So let's see. Example word. So GPT-5 was very fast with that. Example word, conundrum. The company faced a conundrum when both proposed solutions had serious drawbacks. Julia's conundrum was deciding between 2 equally appealing job offers. That's a bit generic. The chef's conundrum was whether to season the dish before or after cooking. I guess, but that's awkward. It's not really a conundrum. It should be fairly simple. He solved the conundrum by purchasing the first affordable flight he could find. Why is the correct answer D? I feel like that could be a conundrum. A conundrum is a complex or difficult problem, often involving a difficult choice. Simply finding the cheapest available option does not typically qualify as a conundrum. I don't know about that because I feel like C, the chef's conundrum was whether to season the dish. That could also be, I don't know, is that a conundrum? I'm not crazy about that. These are weird. These are odd. The committee faced a conundrum when the budget cuts threatened every essential program. Yes, deciding what to major in became a personal conundrum for Mira. The stage illusionist wrapped up his set by performing an elaborate conundrum. Well, the answer is C, because a trick would not be described as a conundrum. So that's pretty good. Historians still grapple with the conundrum of why the civilization collapsed so abruptly. I feel like these are more variable, more nuanced, more natural these are a bit awkward. If I were taking this quiz, I might choose C, but I might choose D. And you know what? Both proposed solutions had serious drawbacks. This A doesn't even provide enough information to say whether or not it's natural. So that the challenge is it has to provide enough information so that you know, oh, that's natural, or oh, that's not. Whereas with these, I feel like it's fairly obvious. Okay, C is the answer. It's got to be C. So here I have to say O3 does better. And for this, I would say GPT-5 would need to turn on thinking and maybe it would perform better. But I don't want to have to do that because, you know, that's not my job. Okay, now what we want to do is an evaluation. I'm going to provide text examples and ask for an evaluation, a level in the CEFR level system. I'm going to provide the criteria. So it's not just coming up with a random level assessment, it's using the criteria that I provide. So I'm giving the full CEFR criteria and explanation. I'm giving it everything that it should need, and then I'm going to provide the same text. I'm actually going to do two different ones. One is lower level, one is higher. So this first one should be probably A2. Okay, so I'm going to provide an A2 level text. That's, I guess, what we could call upper beginner. A lot of mistakes, many issues. Okay, so here's the first text. Again, we're looking for probably an A2 if it's accurate, something like that. Let's send it for both. GPT-03 is thinking. Level B1, okay, I would go A2, but not crazy if it's 47 out of 100, I guess. I would say it's a little bit lower, but not crazy. So let's see the basis here. Logical order of events is easy to follow, but it needs work adding linking words. Learn more descriptive adjectives. Okay. Subject-verb agreement has issues. Richer details are needed. And it looks like GPT-5 is having problems. So let's say try again. Hey, everybody has problems sometimes. I once had problems myself. Okay, so now notice these are very different. 47 and 33. I feel like it's more like A2. So on this one, I feel like 33 is a little bit more accurate. Fluency and coherence. Okay, I want to see the weak areas. Let's see. The task is addressed with enough detail to understand, but ideas are repeated and some sentences feel incomplete. Yes, definitely. Subject-verb agreement issues. Learn more descriptive words for feelings, actions, and appearance. Yes, I agree with that. So I feel like GPT-5 is a little bit more accurate. That's meant to be more of an A2 response. So now we're going to provide a B2 response. Generally, I would say lower B2, maybe in the upper 60s for this one. So we're just going to provide the text. And one thing I'm noticing here is that GPT-5 is quite a bit faster because it's choosing when to use thinking and when it doesn't need to use thinking. So both are giving B2. They're very close, 68 and 72. So, all right, fairly close here. Pretty much the same. This version is clear, well-structured, and easy to follow. Grammar is mostly correct with varied sentence types. Okay? And then the follow-up is consistent practice with these targets will help raise toward C1, and it's giving advice like stretch sentence patterns, practice combining ideas with subordinate clauses. That is good advice. And the advice here is use more specific descriptive words, spectacular fireworks, cherish tradition. Okay. Experiment with different sentence openings and more complex clauses to avoid repetition. Yeah, I would say that's a fair point too. All right. So maybe a little higher accuracy for GPT-5 here, and I would say a bit faster, so that's pretty good. Now I want to try a really simple request, a very short, we're not using deep analysis, a very short request that someone may have if they're panicking, realizing, oh crap, I have a test tomorrow. So here's the situation. Someone needs to take the IELTS tomorrow. They haven't prepared at all. They're panicking. They need some last-minute help. That's the request. Now, since there's no deep analysis needed, what are we looking for? We're looking to see which one does a better job understanding how to help someone in this situation, a person who has a request, who's also feeling nervous and stressed, right? So it's not just about saying, here's what you should do. It's about empathy too, understanding the situation, the emotional context. So there's more going on in this request than just providing a plan for how to prepare for the IELTS test tonight, right? There's a little more happening. So the request is, I'm taking the IELTS test tomorrow. I haven't practiced anything. Help. That's the request, which I think has probably happened at least a few times. Thought for 5 seconds. So notice here at the beginning, there's no empathy. It's just boom. First, sort the essentials: ID, confirmation letter, pencils, eraser. Check the test center. So there isn't an acknowledgement of the sense of. If I were answering this, I would say, "Oh wow, okay. Listen, don't panic. Don't freak out. It's going to be okay. There's actually a lot you can do the day before to make your score much higher. So it's okay. Now let's make a plan." So that's what I would do as a teacher. This is not that. This is just boom, plan. Here, very technical, not very, for lack of a better word, human. But the plan itself, seems fine. So 3-hour crash session with the time breakdown. Writing task 2, it's giving an overview. Key section hacks, read question stems in previous. It's very, very dry, a bit rigid, and useful, but not very empathetic. All right, here's the fastest crash course you can realistically do in one day to boost your score. So there's something there, but also with this, not really a sense of understanding, right? How to practice reading, listening, speaking. So here, again, I would want to see a little bit more empathy and understanding of the situation. Last minute mindset and strategy. Sleep for 7 to 8 hours. Good call. Eat before the test. No. Manage timing. If you want, I can give you one rapid practice set for all 4 skills. Sorry, I keep accidentally selecting this right now so that you can get a full test day simulation. Okay, so that's good. That's kind of understanding what to do next. This is just good luck. There is a tomorrow morning thing, but I definitely prefer GPT-5's answer here. I would like to see a little bit more empathy at the start, but there is something here before just saying, here's the plan. But the follow-up is a bit better. All right, now I want to compare writing quality, and I don't want to provide a lot of information. I just want to see how well GPT-5 can handle a request for something that's kind of in-depth and interesting, but without having to give a lot of context. And I want to see, most importantly, if it has fixed the M- issue. GPT-4 uses this double M- so much that you can, if you want to know if someone is using AI, ChatGPT to write their LinkedIn posts, just count how many M-. If there's more than one, then they are. So let's say I want you to write a 1,000 word article on the history of the English language. Something I know a bit about. I have a video about that. You're welcome to check that out. Use occasional humor or sarcasm. Add nuance and depth. Don't use too many bullet points. Sometimes you know what? I'm going to get rid of that last one because I want to see if GPT-5 does a better job with it. Sometimes, if this is something like an article or a blog post, 4.0 will not just use a bunch of M-, but also basically make it a giant list of bullet points. So it's not really an article, is it? It's just bullet points. An article may have bullet points, but if it's mostly bullet points, then you can't really get into it. You don't feel like you're reading something. You feel like you're just checking bullet points. It's kind of awkward. I'm against the only bullet point blog post article. Okay, so same prompt here for GPT-5. Here's my 1,000 word article. English today is the world's loudest linguistic guessed, awkward. M dash, there it is. It shows up uninvited, dominates the conversation, and leaves bits of itself on other people's languages. All right, I don't know if I like that, but all right. Kind of an awkward start, but it didn't start that way. Its history is less a straight line and more a chaotic pinball machine of invasions, cultural fads, and historical accidents. Lots of M dashes. The story begins not in England, but in what is now northern Germany, Denmark, and the Netherlands. Around the 5th century, the Angles, Saxons, and Jutes, tribes with names that sound like brands of medieval axes, crossed the North Sea to Britain. Okay, not exactly, well, it's a little more than that. Check out my video on this, by the way. I did a whole video, but filled with M dashes everywhere. Not all bullet points, so it looks good, but I don't know, a bit awkward. Let's see how well 5 handles this. The English language didn't spring fully formed from the head of Shakespeare, despite what some high school textbooks might imply. It's the product of over a millennium of invasions, cultural mashups, accidents, and deliberate tinkering. If English were a stew, the recipe would read something like this. Take one Germanic base, season with Norse, marinate in French, sprinkle in Latin and Greek, and serve with a side of global borrowings. Pretty accurate? Yeah, that's accurate. Yeah. The result is a language both infuriating and beloved, capable of expressing everything from a king's decree to a teenager's TikTok caption. I think that's a pretty good intro, and it's kind of light and fun. The analogy works better for me than the pinball thing, and it does kind of tie in the themes of what's coming up or some of the ideas that are coming up. We got one M dash here and one there. Let's see if we have a bunch. There's another one, kind of a lot. Okay, less, not so many. Oh, I'm not seeing any more. Oh, there's another one. Not as many M dashes, but they're still there, more than I would like. Let's read a random paragraph here. From the 18th century onward, English began to transform into the global language we know today. The British Empire, for all its historical baggage, spread English across continents. Colonization brought English into contact with languages in the Americas, Africa, Asia, and the Pacific, resulting in both borrowings, bungalow from Hindi, kangaroo from Gugu, I don't know how to say that, Gugu, G-U-U-G-U, and new regional varieties. I mean, this is not bad. This is not bad. This is pretty good, actually. I don't love... The writing style is better. It's definitely better than 4.0. There are fewer M dashes. There are too many, but it's definitely better. It's definitely an improvement. Finally, I want to get revisions. I want to get feedback on a proposal. I want to see how good the feedback is, how useful it is, how accurate it is, right? And I want to get a revision. I want a better version of what I originally wrote. So revise the proposal below for clarity, flow, grammar, while keeping the original tone. And then we have a basic proposal here about an app that does all sorts of things. Fairly straightforward, okay? And then we'll do in GPT-5, revise proposal. The idea, a super cool app everyone will love. I haven't worked out the details yet, but I'm confident it'll be a hit. Not bad. It's designed to do all sorts of things. Exactly what those things are is still up in the air, so feel free to imagine your own version. Not a great proposal. So here, the corrections seem to be good, so it sounds good, but a real revision of this would be to actually make it make a bit maybe more sense, right? And be more compelling as a proposal. Okay, so the grammar corrections and then specific changes changed everybody's gonna love to everyone will love for smoother flow. Changed haven't dug into the details yet to I haven't worked out the details yet. Yeah. So this is just correcting what was wrong or what was awkward or unnatural and then providing a revision. If you want, I can also provide you a sharper version. Yes. Give me a version that is more natural and also a better proposal. So I don't just want more natural English. I actually want a better proposal. Revised proposal. The idea, a super cool app that everyone will love. I haven't worked out all the details yet, but I'm confident it'll be a hit. Very similar. The app will do all sorts of things. Exactly what those things are is still taking shape. So feel free to imagine. Okay, so very similar. Changed everybody's gonna to everyone will. Pretty similar. And then if you want, I can also give you a punchier, more persuasive alternative version that keeps the casual tone but sells the idea harder. That's what I want, right? That's kind of what I requested over here. So let me just say yes. The weakness here is not just in the English. This is the difference between corrections and feedback. So the corrections say, make my English more natural. A revision of that would just be more natural, but might not be compelling, right? Might still be a bit awkward. Feedback, more broadly, is to make it more persuasive, to make it punchier, to make it more interesting at least, even if the idea isn't clear. So that's another type of feedback, another type of revision. So let me just say yes, that would be great. So I do like that GPT-5 has actually kind of thought of the best thing that it should do next, right? Basically what it's saying there is, well, this is not very good. Even though it's correct, it's still not very good. Sharper, more natural. I've got an idea for an app that I think people will genuinely love. The core concept is simple. It's a tool that makes everyday tasks easier and more fun while leaving room for future features we can add as we go. The exact feature list is still flexible, but the goal is to make it something people reach for every day without thinking. Okay, so it's adding a bit more specificity. Replaces vagueness with purpose. Instead of does all sorts of things, it now hints at the app's value, making everyday tasks easier and more fun. Keeps flexibility, acknowledges features aren't set yet, but frames that as adaptability, not a lack of planning. Yeah, in the original, it's more like, I have no idea what I'm doing or what I could do. I don't even know, right? This is framing it in a different way. That's actually pretty good. It looks like we have to give GPT-5 another chance here. Try again. Yes, please. I'll just say yes, please. That would be great again. Punchier alternative proposal. One-liner, a clean, addictive mobile app that fixes one daily annoyance for a lot of people and feels great to use. What it does, focus on one core job, tap, get value in under 10 seconds. Add a few delightful extras that make people come back. Who's it for? Busy phone-first users who hate bloat and want a tool that just works. Okay, so this is more sort of broken down into a proposal you would read, right? And now it's got a plan for how to validate the idea. Week 1, landing page with a 30-second demo video. Week 2, clickable Figma prototype. Week 3, test flight or early Android build. Yeah, all right. Build plan. So it's kind of going in the direction of, this is how I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do, rather than here's just some thing I'm going to do. This is how I can figure out what I'm going to do, which is the thing I don't know yet. So that's an interesting approach too. I honestly, I think both of these are pretty good. One thing we haven't really tested is coding, vibe coding, right? Now, I haven't done a bunch of vibe coding with ChatGPT yet. I tested it out a little bit last night, GPT-5, doing some vibe coding on a different project, and it worked reasonably well. So maybe I'll do a different video on that, but I kind of want to compare GPT-5 vibe coding to other vibe coding tools like Gemini, like Claude, V0, things like that. So I might do another video on that. Generally, the difference between O3 and GPT-5 right now is minor. I think it's a bit better. It's definitely faster. I feel like in some places it does get nuance more, or maybe it's a bit better at analyzing, right, and getting to the right answer. In some cases, it's just really hard to tell. I think it's better at things like writing, but is it shockingly better? No. I think it's generally, and I'm using the word think, so it's not a strong feeling. I think it's generally better. I really like using O3, and I like using 4.0 too. I think they're pretty good. I think GPT-5 is a bit better than using those two. And maybe it's because expectations were really built up. I'm not seeing this mind-blowing, groundbreaking thing. It's like an update. It's an update, a minor update. And, when you went from, I don't know, PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4, that might also have felt like a minor update, or PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5. But then that continues getting better. So my hope is that it keeps getting better and better. Maybe coding is a groundbreaking advance with GPT-5. It's supposed to be, right? So there are these benchmarks and a focus on benchmarks. I feel like the team at OpenAI kind of focused on that to say, hey, our model is so much better. But in actual day-to-day usability, is it revolutionary? I don't think so. I really don't. Is the voice mode? Absolutely not. But I think the voice mode is just GPT 4.0 folded into GPT-5. I think it's exactly the same. It sounds the same. At least in my experience so far, it's no different. So I'm okay with using GPT-5. There are a couple of things that have happened where I felt that it lacked nuance in some of my testing yesterday. I asked a question about a concrete pad. I said, hey, I'm looking at a concrete pad that I poured for a building. I'm freaking out because I thought it was going to be big enough, but now that I'm looking at the concrete pad, I feel like it's too small. Now, I knew that this is a psychological thing. People, I think it's called something anxiety, pad panic maybe. You look at the concrete pad that you poured outside and your brain tells you, well, it's so small, but it's small relative to the outdoors. Your brain doesn't have any points of reference. But what I was trying to test was, is it able to get the nuance that I'm freaking out and I need to be calmed down? And what happened was GPT-5, and I tested also side by side, 5 and 4. GPT-5 said, yeah, you probably should have gone bigger. It's probably going to be too small. Basically, that was the tone. Not, hey, you know what? Once the walls are up, this is a known thing that happens. People have this kind of anxiety. It's a normal thing. What I wanted in that moment, obviously, was to be kind of comforted and to be given some reasons why I shouldn't be freaking out. But instead, the vibe was, yeah, probably should have gone bigger. Whereas then I tested with, I believe I was testing with 4.0, just the same request, and it kind of got that it should empathize a little bit, and that's what I was really getting at. That's a minor thing. In general, I think we can say, GPT-5 is pretty good. The voice mode, not so good. Hopefully, I really hope it gets better. Is the voice mode better than Grok? No. Is ChatGPT with GPT-5 better than using Grok? I don't know. I might need to test that, but I don't know. It might be a matter of preference, but these days I kind of prefer using Grok for a lot of stuff. Something to test out. Anyway, let me know what you think. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Get a free course in the links in the description, and check out the 90-day program. It is the best way to improve your English in 90 days. If you feel like you're kind of struggling and you're not making progress, it's because the same things that you were doing to get here don't work anymore. They stop working. You have to start doing different things. You have to put in the work. You have to practice. The 90-day program has over 50 hours of video lessons, but you also practice, work, get feedback from AI assistants, and also you have my WhatsApp so that you have support throughout the program. And at the end, if you're not happy with your progress, get a full refund, no questions asked. Or you can get access to 8 additional courses, a yearly membership at no additional cost. It's an amazing deal. Check that out. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.